Imagine waking up the morning before your 58th birthday and deciding to inflict absolute, unmitigated chaos on your own body, not metaphorically, but through raw, punishing physical exhaustion. For most people, approaching 60 means booking a quiet dinner, raising a glass of wine, and pretending calories don't exist for a weekend. But the newly crowned King Frederik X of Denmark looked at the calendar and decided on something entirely different, something that can only be described as royal madness. 3 distinct cities, 3 separate races, one brutal, relentless day of turning an entire European nation into his personal high-intensity fitness app. This wasn't a carefully staged photo opportunity. It was a deliberate, bone-crushing test of endurance that left an entire country wondering how a modern monarch could push himself to the absolute brink, just for fun. If you have a fascination with sharp royal history and the unexpected shifts within Europe's oldest institutions, welcome to Danish News Daily, where we unpack the quiet, calculated strategies and human dramas behind the crown. To understand the sheer absurdity of this day, you have to understand how it began, not in a palace, but on the water. The morning sun hit the harbor of Ron as the royal yacht glided toward the docks, carrying a man about to embark on a multi-city marathon that would break lesser men. When you are the king of Denmark, even your cardio routine comes with a cinematic entrance. But as Frederik stepped off the vessel looking remarkably calm and annoyingly composed, the atmosphere shifted from regal elegance to immediate, heavy anticipation. The crowd waiting for him knew exactly what lay ahead, even if the rest of the world was completely blind to the trap the organizers had set. The route through Ron wasn't designed for a casual weekend jogger. It was designed to break rhythm. Event organizers later admitted, without a hint of irony, that this was the steepest, most unforgiving hill the Royal Run had ever featured in its history. Imagine preparing for a friendly community event, only to discover the path was mapped out by a medieval Viking with serious, unresolved anger issues. It was a vertical wall of asphalt that demanded total submission from the human lungs. And yet, as the starting horn shattered the morning air, Frederik didn't hesitate. There was no royal panic, no polite request to shorten the route for His Majesty, and absolutely no security detail stepping in to soften the blow. He simply went for it, driving his feet into the pavement, charging directly into an incline that would make seasoned athletes question their life choices. This is where the mask of modern royalty completely dissolves. Most public figures spend millions of dollars and thousands of hours carefully curating a pristine, untouchable image of perfection. Frederik does the exact opposite. He protects his image by attacking hills in muddy running shoes while national television cameras zoom directly into the sweat pouring down his forehead. It is raw, it is unedited, and as we would later find out during a bizarre post-race encounter, it is devastatingly effective. The true test of a leader isn't just how they handle the climb. It's how they handle the immediate, breathless aftermath when the world is watching for a slip-up. As the king crossed the finish line in Ron, gasping for air and visibly drained, a local reporter seized her moment. She lunged forward with a microphone, cameras rolling, setting up the perfect, predictable television moment. She asked a standard, polite question, the kind designed to elicit a polished, PR-approved speech about community spirit, perseverance, and the beautiful Danish scenery. What she got instead was a masterclass in Scandinavian bluntness. Frederik looked at her, his chest heaving, his face flushed from gravity's relentless assault, and delivered exactly 8 words. It was a hill. I ran it. That was it. The silence that followed was heavy. The reporter genuinely looked as though her soul had briefly left her body on live television, waiting for a profound royal insight that was never going to come. It was the ultimate institutional mic drop, a complete refusal to play the traditional, rehearsed game of high society theater. And in that single, unvarnished moment, Frederik communicated more to his people than any 3-hour speech from a gilded throne ever could. But the most terrifying part of this entire story isn't the hill he had just conquered, it's what he chose to do next. While any sensible human being would have rewarded themselves with a massive plate of Danish pastries and a 4-hour nap, the king's itinerary was moving at a terrifying pace. Before the sweat could even dry from his first ordeal, he was whisked away to the city of Middelfart. There were no celebrations, no long lunches, and certainly no rest. Just another starting line.
Here is King Frederik and Queen Mary of Denmark visiting Odense, their first of 3 visits on their royal summer sailing tour on the royal ship Danish. Before I get into this, it's costing the municipality Odense 900,000 Danish kroner to have the royal couple there, just for basically an afternoon. It was revealed that it was speculated to cost 1.5 million kroner. I think in my head I wasn't sure how much these things kind of cost, but I guess nearly 1 million kroner actually only works out to be about 115,000 pounds. Now I know that's not a small amount of money for a little town to stump up when royals come to visit, but I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. Just saying. FYI, this is them aboard the royal ship Danish coming in to dock. They just look so elegant and chic when they're on that ship. Sorry, I can't even talk. When they're on that ship, they look so elegant and chic. This is also off the back of the news that has basically just landed that Crown Prince Christian will basically take over the role of his grandmother, Queen Margaret II, at the celebration of the Queen Margaret II Bridge, which is happening next week. He's going to be there apparently on his own, on his first solo big royal event on his own, which I think is probably quite terrifying, especially for a youngster. Anyway, this is obviously because Queen Margaret II is in and out of hospital because of her heart. These two are sailing around Denmark. I've got to say though, look how incredible. This is with the mayor of Odense. So Queen Mary of Denmark, this is not my favourite look. I'm just going to put it out there. She's worn this Ralph Lauren blazer many, many times. She's worn this Paul and Joe skirt many times. But all put together, she always looks so like chic and elegant put together. The hat and the shoes make a big difference. Although, did you see in that video, maybe she regrets wearing those shoes because those were a lot of cobbles to negotiate in 5-inch heels. Anyway, as I said, not my favourite look. She still looks incredible. Although with sunglasses, it's automatically elevated. Automatically, she looks like a different person. They both actually look so happy to be out and about and meeting people. I think that's when they're in their happy place. This was a really sweet moment where someone in the crowd, a well-wisher in the crowd, basically gave them pictures of King Frederik when he was younger, visiting Odense. So it's almost like a bit of a full circle. You can see that they really enjoyed looking at these pictures. They do have a full packed schedule for 900,000 kroner. This is them outside Hans Christian Andersen's house. Again, they just look so elegant. They had lunch at the town hall, then they went to Hans Christian Andersen's house. They even went in a horse-drawn carriage, which was really nice to see. And the first thing this morning, they appeared on a balcony, which was I think quite unusual because it wasn't obviously a palace balcony. The crowds definitely came out. There was lots of cheering, but here they are coming out on the balcony, just waving, looking great as usual. I can't wait to see what happens. So there's dinner later tonight, and then they sail off on their next 2 trips. So let's see what this week has in store for these two gorgeous people.
I've fallen down a rabbit hole of the Danish royal family. If you are from Denmark, I just want to let you know, I love your royal family. They seem so cool. I want to hang out with literally all of them. Your queen seems like a badass bitch. The old queen, the one who abdicated, girl, I want to smoke a cigarette with her and talk about fucking anything. The king is hot. I love him.